what you believe in, the consistency that you want to have, the product of yourself that you start with before you even enter into the entrepreneurship, that is the fundamental piece that will be the stage for you in everything you do. And so, first and foremost, believe in yourself, believe in what you want to hold your principles to, and give yourself a chance to actually be able to see that seed of belief sprout into something really, really beautiful. It's not trying to be intimidating, but just by nature of...
Not even that. I had random parents that literally went off the deep end, and I had to have a security guard. I mean, there's crazy stories. I might write a book. I don't know. Oh, gosh.
I want alkaline Kool-Aid water for my kid with 4 pieces of ice stirred counterclockwise.
Oh, now I forget where we're even going with that.
For all the listeners, right, why should they even listen to what you have to say? Like, what experiences in your life, what have you accomplished that even validate for someone to come and go, I need to learn from this person?
Well, I have 2 businesses. One I started when I was 26. People don't have to listen, obviously, but I probably have some things that they might learn from. I don't know. They'll have to wait and see.
Okay. I love it. A little anticipation there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of our favorite things this week. Min, what was one of the most favorite things you had this week?
My favorite thing, since we were talking about me being a kid, is that I take a step back and I'm like, okay, who do I relate with? And it's Charlie Brown. So my new phone case reminds me, because I take my day so serious, or when I have to go up and give speeches, or when I have to talk to buyers on the phone, I look at the back of my case, I'm like, you're Charlie Brown. I even go down and got the bracelet. Sometimes
what does that mean for you?
Charlie Brown is a kid that got picked on a lot. Charlie Brown was someone that he was just trying to be liked and loved, you know? And sometimes in life, like, it's a struggle. It's stressful to be liked and loved. And why stress about it? He had his dog. So every time I feel like I'm giving a speech, or I'm delivering something, am I delivering it because I want to be liked and loved, or be like Charlie Brown, just be chill about it? Sometimes I'll snap my wrist like this. I'm, okay, take a step back and deliver the speech, or do what you want to do for yourself, not for the stress about being liked or loved.
Bro, that was so good.
That was really good.
I didn't know that about Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I just thought Snoopy.
Oh, Snoopy. Snoopy would help actually rub it in even worse. Like, it's not that bad. Like, you know, if let's say he liked a girl, Snoopy would make it worse. Like, it would do a little Snoopy voice. And like, the more he rubbed in his face, it was like, it's no big deal.
Well, shoot, my favorite thing is not going to be anywhere as impactful as that. I was just going to talk about how, like, I really like my cup of coffee. I haven't had time to be able to go and get a nice iced cup of coffee from Original Barista, which is a local spot here that we absolutely love. And just even the vibe there. Like, the guy actually started it because his parents had coffee shops, I think in New Zealand or Australia. He's going to kill me for forgetting. But they started there. His grandfather was like the original barista in the family, and they just created the recipe and the structure for it, and they've scaled it here. And I love it. Like, the people there are fantastic. The owners are super, super sweet, genuine people, but the coffee tastes fantastic. And so this week, I've not been able to go. It's been a really busy week, like you said. And to be able to get an iced cup of coffee from my wife, being able to grab it for me, it was a good treat. Sarah.
Well, I don't have my coffee, but I have my champagne.
No one knows what time of the day it is.
It's okay. I hope they don't. Anyways, I'd had a lot of great things this week. Yesterday, my husband and I obviously got the opportunity to hit some golf balls together.
Oh, nice.
Which is the first thing we've done in a long time together. That didn't revolve around business. So that's pretty cool.
Was it Topgolf or just a full 9 holes?
No, we didn't even do 9 holes, just the driving range.
Oh, nice.
And that made me happy.
Was it hard? Was it hard to turn that off? Because, you know, you talk shop so much to
we don't often have time to be together to do something, just the two of us. So it was nice to be able to, like, shut off, both of us, be able to shut off and just go and do something that's a hobby and sort of relaxing.
Yeah. To give some people a sneak peek, what kind of businesses do you own right now? What are the 2 businesses?
I own a preschool, Newport Coast Child Development Preschool, that I've had for almost 25 years.
Dang.
And then my husband and I recently opened up the House Newport Beach, which is a private members-only club on PCH.
I love it. Yeah, and I'll give it away. That's how we connected.
Yes.
And then seeing the success you've had both there and at your other business, I mean, I wanted to come and learn from you. And so let's dive in. Tell us about being 26. How did this start? Like, is it a family inspiration? Is it a self thing? You're just like, the thing I want to do is own a preschool.
Were you a teacher before?
I was a teacher. Yeah. So when I went to college, like most people, I didn't know what I wanted to major in, really. I'm very artistic, so I majored in graphic design. I ended up changing my major numerous times. And then during the summers, I would assistant teach at a preschool here in Newport Beach. I've always loved kids. I used to babysit when I was younger. And so I did change my major, child development and family studies, and graduated from Long Beach State. and then started being a teacher and then assistant director. And then I realized I loved it, but I wasn't making enough money. Not for the lifestyle that I wanted.
Single at the time?
Single at the time. A friend of mine said, you should open up your own preschool. And I never thought about it. Like I just didn't think.
Yeah.
I don't know if didn't have the confidence at that time or just didn't enter my mind.
Yeah.
So I talked to my dad about it, and he said, write a business plan. So I researched how to write a business plan, wrote my own business plan.
Was your dad in business before too? Like what's...
My dad's a real estate developer.
Okay,
He
cool.
he does mobile home parks.
Okay.
But he's a very good businessman. And I respect him immensely. So I gave him a business plan, and he guided me on how to get an SBA loan. I was a few $100,000 short, so he gave me a personal loan to make up for that.
So he's a really successful businessman.
Yes. Yes. But with that, he gave the stipulation that if you don't pay me back within 3 years, and he was also the co-signer on my SBA loan. If you don't pay me back in 3 years and get me off the loan, then you're not just the owner of the school. All 3 of your other sisters are also the owner of the school.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah, that's not happening.
Dude, he is
I'm like, hell
brilliant.
no.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's sparked fire under my ass. And I paid him back. I paid him back in 2 years.
Were your sisters like, oh, let's go hang out tonight. Yeah. We should go hang out. We should go to Vegas.
Yeah, they're trying to distract you the whole time.
No, and he was in my business the whole time, and so it was actually nice to get him off because then he was not in my business anymore.
Yeah.
But it inspired and it motivated me, obviously.
Wow.
And I wanted to prove to him I could do it.
Yeah.
So
The fact that you did it in 2 years, because most businesses struggle for 5 years. So he actually, to me, was like, you picked the number. Dude, you know, it takes 5 years to be successful. You want it back in 3? Like, oh my gosh.
we were profitable after 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like I love the strategy it took to it too. I would have imagined, right? And you think that with really, really successful people that they would just be the bank themselves. But he taught you how to actually go get the SBA loan.
Yeah. Well, that's how my dad was brought up.
How did you figure out how to cash flow in 6 months? Because most businesses get all the upfront costs, and then if you're running a school, you're collecting, I guess, tuition every month.
You're collecting deposits,
and if you haven't done
registration fees.
And did you do that at the prior?
Before I built it from the ground up. Like literally, I bought the land, built the building. Dang. So I had a little trailer on my dirt parking lot, and people would come in the trailer and apply.
Yeah.
People knew me.
Yeah.
Because I worked at a preschool, it was local, and they knew my business acumen and me as a person. I think they trusted in me. So I had, before I even opened the doors, I think I had 100 families.
Wow. So I like the place you're taking the questions to, Minh, because I think it's super interesting. Was it just the fact of who you were and the attraction of your ethos and what you're creating that you think brought the most amount of clientele? Was it also a mix of the aesthetics and the style? Because hearing you create it from the ground up and seeing what you created at the house in Newport Beach, knowing that you were actually the designer behind that, seeing how you're even dressed and you have a belt buckle now that I'm like, I actually would wear that same belt buckle. Like, right? Like there's a really good style to it. Which one do you think it was, or was it a mix of both?
I think it was a mix of both.
Okay.
I think so.
Because we should clarify, right? Like, what kind of clientele do you have at this preschool? Because it's not just like a preschool.
At that time, though, not the time now. Like,
well, even at that time.
Yeah, no, dude.
I opened up with probably 10 professional athletes. Famous, like not famous, but pretty famous, well known, I guess you could say.
It just like goes with it, just athlete.
Celebrity athletes.
People on some reality shows. I don't need to, say the shows, but it was high client. It's high clientele. I mean, and I feel like we provide that high service.
Before you did it, did you see a need for it?
There was a definite need for it.
You did something that not a lot of people can do, right? You created a product and you disrupted a category in Newport with what you created, and your clientele is the highest level of social class, success clientele as well. So like you went for the highest margin and interruption, and most people don't go there, right? Most people scale business first by going to cheaper products, going from level 1 and then building up. But you went straight to the top.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. How did you even identify that? Like, what was your thinking?
I don't think I even identified. I just did what I wasn't thinking that's what it was. I never thought it would be this like this. I really didn't. And I look back now and go, I don't even know how I even did that.
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen? I don't know. Build it and they will come. I don't know. I don't know. how it happened.
That's
but
beautiful,
it's been the greatest gift.
Yeah.
Not just, I don't mean financially or anything like that, but it's, people ask me, what's the best thing about your school? And to me, it's kind of the same thing as the club, the house.
Yeah.
It's bringing people together. So like I look at these for almost 25 years, I've had this, and I've seen teachers that are best friends for 20 years that in each other's weddings. Parents who have known each other now, I still see them, and they're still best friends, and their kids are best friends. So that to me is my greatest gift. Is like what I've done to bring people together.
You lead a community.
Yeah, it's nice.
What were the lessons you learned there? Like when you look back, right? If somebody's listening here and they go, okay, I might not have step one of the finances, but I could probably get to it. What's the step two? Like, what are other things that I need to know? Like, what did you learn so quickly from such an interesting and unique scenario?
I look at my dad, and what anyone would say about my dad is he has the greatest business integrity ever. So I just wanted to maintain that myself.
Yeah.
And you can ask probably anybody, and they would say, hopefully, what my dad has. I mean, I didn't, professional athletes, famous people, whatever they are, I wouldn't let them get the classes they wanted just because who they are.
Dang.
It'd be like, no, there's a waiting list. It's going to be 5 months or whatever it's going to be. But during that time, you get, she's not a very, some people would say things not so nice about me.
Yeah.
She's stern.
Yeah.
I think that's if I could pause you there real quick, because every time I've interacted with really successful female leaders, there's always this fine line of
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, it's like you either get seen as bitchy,
yes, or
or like you're just a pushover. And I'm like, dude, I feel a lot of respect for being able to dance that line well.
Well, I don't know if I've done it well. Well, I've tried. Well, with my new business, that's the other thing. It's like I kind of learned to do it at the preschool.
Yeah.
And things got said about me of being, the B word for a few years, and I had to learn to accept that. It was very, very. I mean, I was devastated. I cried, go home crying all the time. I had to get over it. And then I put myself, fortunately or unfortunately, kind of sort of in a public eye again with doing a private club.
Yeah.
And people are looking at me, and I'm having to learn to do that fine line again.
Yeah.
And still get called the B word.
I mean, I think it's such an unfair scenario that a lot of female leaders have to be in, but to see how you looked at the bigger picture, right? If I bend, then I lose the big game.
And I lose respect.
Yeah.
Because even though I did follow my own rules and all the rules, people still said, oh, she lets her friends get whatever classes they want. And I never did that.
Yeah.
It's kind of lose-lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, but don't regret anything.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that was coming to mind is this lesson I feel like I've drawn out from your story too. When Minh, you said the high-end client, right? Like, it's crazy because it's a catch 2020. A high-end client is pressuring you to do something. But then at the same time, if you do it, the product that they came to you for is gone. It's a different product.
It's diluted.
Yeah. As soon as you do what they want you to do, now it's no longer that aspect of something special.
Right.
Something custom, something that adds value intrinsically in itself. And so that I forget that, right? I think so many times too, I can bend for people and I'm like, wait, now I just manipulated what I actually try to provide them.
Right.
Like I compromised on it, not even manipulated, compromised.
Right. And I think I went into my preschool with the thought and the idea that we are highest of the highest quality, and we don't need you anymore. I mean, like, we don't need you more than you need us.
Yeah.
You need us.
You said it such a respectful way.
I was trying to say, I'm like, how do I sound not rude? But we're providing an amazing service, and it's a gift, and so I don't need. I wanted to, again, it goes back to just being honest and having integrity.
Yeah. The product itself was valuable enough, whether somebody wanted to be a part of it or not.
Correct.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Because what seems like has happened in your circumstance, right, is you already had a really great scenario, it sounds like, with your dad, right? Many people would just stay there. Like you took something and up-leveled it to your own world, right? Like you created something for yourself. And there's not a lot of people who come from being really well off that do that, And I think us as entrepreneurs, we want our kids to be able to do that. But you actually did.
I didn't have that in my head my whole life that I was going to do that. I think I was like a lot of people, some people, and probably just thought I was going to go to college, meet a guy, and get married. Like that's, and something after college, I just said, I want to take care of myself. And it's interesting because I don't know if I was married previously. And the preschool was my greatest gift because if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have gotten divorced. And it wasn't It was a good marriage, but just didn't work.
Yeah.
But I remember after I got divorced, it was shocking how many women that I knew came up to me and said, I'm so jealous that you could do that. And I go, what do you mean, do what? And they said, get divorced. I'm like, well, you can get divorced. I'm like, no, what would I do?
Yeah.
But financially, I was able to do that, which was the great gift for me.
Yeah.
And probably for him too.
Yeah, to be able to have that independence.
The independence.
The principle that I was deducting from our combo, especially even in that challenge that, again, so many female leaders have, right? It's either you sound the B word or you're a flirt, right? And it's like this line that you guys have to walk that, again, is very unfair.
Right.
But it sounds like you've been able to really do well with it because you just stop caring as much.
Yeah, that sounds bad, but yeah.
But it's the only way. And even now, like, you're finding a new balance of how much are you going to care in this business.
Right.
And so do you, even in your self-reflection, do you have any tips for people when they're trying to figure out how much should I care? How little should I care? What are some best tips there?
Well, for me, it's if I care to the point so much that it's stressing me out and making me miserable.
That's
and
too much.
It's too much.
That's good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm listening there, and it's hitting me like, oh, I care too much. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when you care a lot, you're like, why? You know, because
Well, I used to go to the club. Well, I had to kind of. Keith and I both. We're open Wednesday through Sunday. We were there every single day for the first 6 months. That was too much for me. I only really go there when I have a plan. Like my girlfriend said, let's go there for dinner. Or Keith says, let's go there. So I pretty much only there like twice a week now. I would guess maybe 3, but not every day.
Yeah.
Brunch and dinner.
Now that you're years of experience and you saw what your dad did with you, what are you trying to do for your kids? Like if let's say your kid was watching something like this, right? What lessons would you want them to hear? What encouragements would you want them to have? And what are your goals that you're trying to structure for your children?
I think what I'm most proud of or happy about is that my daughters have seen me do my 2 businesses and know that as a woman, you can do whatever you want and you don't have to have a husband to take care of you. If you don't, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
My girls are good girls. Like they're not, I think I always say every kid in Newport Beach is spoiled just because we live in Newport Beach.
Yeah.
They're just spoiled. They don't have that behavior. They value, family. I think they've learned just them knowing that they can do it.
So do you expect or do you want your girls to take over your businesses one day?
No,
Wow.
Wow.
I don't.
Why?
Because I want them to do their own thing. And I don't. And I actually think even if they wanted to run my school, I would make them get another job before. I don't want them to just think that's just that's the natural progression.
Yeah.
They should do it on their own. My oldest daughter has always said to me, I said, maybe you'll run my school someday. And when she was like 16, she's like, no, I don't want to. I want to do my own thing. And that to me, I was proud because I thought they got that from me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to follow after my dad's footsteps either.
Yeah.
And then my youngest really loves children. She works at the preschool every summer.
Aw.
So she might maybe someday, but I hope she wants to do her own thing.
Knowing that you didn't give them what they wanted, I'm like, I would have been like, give me whatever. I'll give you whatever you want for an autograph. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got offered a Mercedes-Benz.
was it a nice one?
That was from a car dealership, a person. And I'm like, no.
Was it
And
Fletcher?
so, I mean, all my friends,
When you said Mercedes-Benz,
all my friends were like, you didn't take the Mercedes? I'm like, no.
Dude, I love how you don't compromise.
Well, again, integrity.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Killer, man.
Well, if you've listened to this episode and you're thinking to yourself, there's this aspect of integrity that she has, I want to remind you what you believe in, the consistency that you want to have, the product of yourself that you start with before you even enter into the entrepreneurship. That is the fundamental piece that will be the stage for you in everything you do. And so, first and foremost, believe in yourself, believe in what you want to hold your principles to, and give yourself a chance to actually be able to see that seed of belief sprout into something really, really beautiful.